Good evening and welcome to the December meeting of the Penfield Historic Preservation Board. I'm Tom Combs, the chair. We'll call the meeting to order. First thing on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. If everyone had a chance to take a look at them, any comments or questions? Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. First action item tonight is Samantha Carbone she's here. Come on up to the front here. And she's requesting approval for a sign in front of the house that she owns.
Yep.
So maybe give us a brief summary of what you
Sure.
want to do.
So 2082 is right now a vanilla box, so a tenant can come in and finish the build out. So I wanted to have a sign to kind of be a placeholder so that someone, first of all, I can advertise for the building that it's available, and also it's a placeholder for them to take what they want with their logo and business name and basically use that so it's a little bit easier for them to know how to do it and what to do.
Mm-hmm. Is the size of that sign per the regulations in the town, do we know?
I think it's actually the same as Karen's because Bob Cudzillo of Southpaw Designs is the one who did it. And I want to say it's the same as it was when it was the chiropractic office, and it's fits right in the little area that was already carved out there for it.
And you did apply for the sign permit, so the town is reviewing it and double checking it meets all of the requirements.
Okay.
And I'm also okay if it needs to be smaller or anything.
Well, if it's within the purview of the town to tell you what the sizes can be, then
Okay.
it can be within those limitations.
All right.
Any comments from anyone on the board?
And just to be clear also, then when someone leases the building and changes the sign for their business name, that business owner will have to come back
Yeah, they'll
before
have
the
to come
board for
back.
their approval. So
Yep.
this is just for the building for lease sign, just so everyone is clear.
Okay. Concerns, questions? Okay, we need a motion then?
I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve.
Yes, motion to approve.
And a second?
I second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion to approve?
Aye.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor of the motion to approve?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you.
All right.
The sign is approved.
Thank you.
And I'll follow up with you.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much for coming in.
To it, yep.
And do let your tenant know, someone who
Oh, yeah.
signs the lease, that they need to come back.
I will, in fact, I'll probably end up doing it myself. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, the second item on the agenda is also a sign, just down the block a little bit. Okay, for Fret and Bow Music Academy. Do we have a guest for that? Come on up. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that sign is already there. I went down to look at it.
You are not mistaken.
Okay, so this identifies, it's there to identify the business that you have.
That's correct.
I didn't have any questions when I took a look at it. And anybody have comments, concerns, the color, anything about it?
I think it looks nice.
All right, if there's no further discussion, we need a motion to approve this as well.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. And a second?
I second.
And a second. Further discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Okay, it's also unanimous. You
That's
have the
it.
approval.
All right,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We did have one guest. Did you want to speak?
Yeah, if you'd like me to do that now, I will.
Yeah, if you want
Yeah.
to come up to the
Come
microphone
on
and
up
just,
identify yourself and I guess we do where you live in Penfield.
yes.
And
My name is Jim Eldred, and I live at 744 Liberty Street. And I'm going to refer to my notes here because I know if I tried to memorize it, I would forget things. So if I mention the barn, that's just incidental because as we discussed earlier, I thought the barn was part of this. But I wanted to talk about Clark House. Last week, I made 4 trips over to Clark House and to visit the house and the barn and the property. 3 of those trips, I took my cameras and took photographs of both structures. And in the process, I got to meet quite a few people who were out making use of the trails and hiking and walking their dogs. And I had one really interesting conversation with a couple who were of my generation. And they weren't quite up to date on what was going on with the house, and even I'm not up to date. But I got to learn who the last resident of the house was, which was interesting. And we talked about the property, and in the process, I was looking at the house, and I was describing it to them, and they listened to what I had to say, and they suggested that maybe I should become involved in some way. And it's because of my conversation with them that I'm here tonight. So what I would like to say is, first of all, because I'm not completely up to date, if I make any mistakes, feel free to correct me, because I don't know everything that has gone on so far, but I've been asking questions and trying to learn as much as I can. In regards to Clark House, we have an opportunity to do something that can last for generations by preserving a very special part of the town of Penfield. We must choose with great foresight because the decisions we make will speak as much for us as Clark House speaks to us now. If you look at that house, there are some very nice historic houses on 5 Mile Line Road alone, but I am not aware of anything in the town of Penfield that matches the appearance of that property, Shadow Pines, Clark House, and the barn. It stands alone, it stands on a gentle rise, and I hesitate to use the word, but it's almost majestic looking. And if you come on Wayland Road from 5 Mile Line and you come around that big broad curve, the very first thing you see is Clark House. It's almost unavoidable. You can't miss it because it sits there and gets your attention. And it's an extraordinary site that I think we're very fortunate to have in the town because not every place has something like this. So the choices we make are important. I think the question is, do we want to preserve the true character of the house, or do we want to make alterations that will make it something else or something less than what it is? And my understanding is the house was built in 1832. I don't know if that's correct or not.
That's correct.
1832? So this house is over 190 years old now, and it will outlast all of us. And I think it really deserves great respect simply because it's lasted this long and its great beauty. Let us choose boldly and find a way to make it happen. And what that means is it's going to be expensive, but the longer we wait, the more significant the cost will be. And let me give you an example that relates indirectly to this. In the 1960s, up till the 1960s, in the city of Rochester, we had a New York Central Railroad station. I believe it was third generation. And if I remember correctly, it was designed by our well-known architect, Claude Bragdon, and it was beautiful. And this was here before I lived here. But in the same decade, that station was torn down in 2 stages. And for decades, we had nothing there but a parking lot. And somewhere along the line, we got what is well known to everybody as Amshack up trackside. But what was down below where the station was a parking lot. And finally, Louise Slaughter stepped up, and with her help, she was able to secure funds for us to rebuild a new station in the vein of the old one. It has a similar look, and the architects did an excellent job. But in that process, we lost a beautiful old station, and we spent millions of dollars of taxpayer money building a new station. So the point of that is the decision that was made back in the 60s, causing the result in the 2000s of millions of dollars spent on a new railroad station when we might have kept the old one, and it would probably be functioning to the current day and beyond.
You know, I don't mean to cut you off, but
Sure.
You're in everything you've said, you've been speaking to the choir. The Clark House is going to be saved. It's been a historic landmark in town of Penfield since, I think, 1987, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
And with all of the changes that are being made to the Shadow Pines property, the house is going to be rehabilitated and made to last for, we hope, another 190 years. So everything that you're saying, we have kind of, I don't want to say fought for it, but we fought for it for going back several years now. And we all agree with you. It's a beautiful house, but we have been able to save it, and it's part of the project is to rehabilitate it.
Okay. I think where I'm going to diverge from what I understand is happening, because I've seen the architectural renderings by the Bergman Company of architects and planners, and I'm not knocking them. They did a great job. The new facility looks good, but I believe that I was going to say, before I knew anything about this, that everything from the back of the house on, from the old country club, should be demolished, and I was told that that is going to happen, but it's all going to be replaced, and everything is going to be reattached to the back of the house. And I personally believe that that's an injustice to the house and a mistake, because the new facility, because of its size, if they want to get X number of people in there, it has to be a certain size, and I understand that, and it does look good. But next to the house, it physically dwarfs that house. It physically dwarfs it, and it's a modern structure attached to a 190-year-old house of, it's not unique in its architectural form, but what makes it unique is its location. And I think it's a mistake to have everything attached, and I'm not knocking the architects. I think they did an excellent job. What I think they ought to do is simply move the structure farther back, a little farther north, so it's separate from the house, and the house clearly stands on its own to anybody who comes by or walks up to it or drives by or whatever. If they see it, it stands alone, and it's unique, and it's very special. I'm not saying I support building the new structure for weddings and banquets and things like that. I think it's a great idea. I'm just saying I think it should be separated from the house. This is how I viewed, the very first trip over there, I walked around the facility, and I just wanted to get a look at things and pick out spots that I wanted to set my camera up, but I walked around looking at things, and I saw the colors match, and the architectural style is similar, and it's good, but it doesn't belong with the house. And I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm trying to think about too many things at one time. I think of the house as a $500,000 Ferrari, and think of everything behind it as a boat trailer with a pontoon boat on it. Would you use your $500,000 Ferrari to haul around a pontoon boat? Could you imagine Mount Vernon or Monticello with the party facility built onto either one of them? Now, I know that's a preposterous analogy, but it's to make a point of course not. You would never see that with either of those places. They're, two of the most important pieces of work in this country. Now, Clark House is neither of those things, but because of its present, it deserves to stand alone and be recognized. And ultimately, as you've just explained to me, I wasn't quite sure about this. I think both the house and the barn, but the house should be opened up ultimately as a historic structure. I think the first thing they need to do is secure the outside of the building so that everything inside is no longer affected by the weather, by temperature changes or anything else, or leaks. If they secure the outside, then they can deal with the inside on a pace of their choosing. But it's basically what you've been explaining to me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we should make it clear to you that the discussions of detaching the house and the new building, that's passed. It will be attached. So the discussion of separating them, Shannon, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's been decided. So it will be attached. We did take, I guess, a lot of conversations going back months with respect to toning down the mass of the new structure so that it didn't overpower the house, just as you were describing, but not to separate it.
Okay. Well, I apologize for not knowing these things. I came to this very late. I think I started finding out about it by the community television channel. And I'd be walking by and I'd hear something about Clark House, and I started paying attention. So I was not aware of everything that has transpired so far, which is why I've been trying to ask questions and learn things. So, as I said, any mistakes I made are a result of that.
So that's the status, and I think if you saw the last note from Mr. Leanouts, it's out to bid now for the structure behind the house here.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, let me see. I don't have a lot more here, but stabilize ultimately, yes. One of the things that concerns me is the 200-foot buffer. I have an idea of why Dolomite wants the 200-foot buffer, but first, why did the town agree to that in buying the property when we are the ones that now own it? And second of all, what was the purpose of the 200-foot buffer? Is that to protect them from lawsuits from?
The purpose, I'm not sure I could describe that well, but the purchase was contingent on that, so the town had to agree to that when they bought it.
Okay, but there's no explanation as to
I'm
why?
sure there is, but I honestly don't know.
That dates back to 2018, so unfortunately it wasn't, it's not something that we've really discussed all that much because it's not something that we can change as the Historic Preservation Board. So that would be a concern that you could bring up to maybe the town board. However, it was contingent upon the purchase, so I'm not sure if that can be altered at this point in time.
Okay.
And the plans have been, completed in a way that accommodates for that 200-foot buffer. Even though it was mostly already compliant, all that changed was, I think the entryway got pushed back slightly and the parking lot was altered slightly. So it actually doesn't change much of what's there now.
Okay. One of the reasons I bring the 200-foot buffer up is because I know the parking lots are certainly not 200 years old, and the extra facilities are not 200 years old. But which was there first, Clark House and the barn or the quarry? You know, it's as if the older has to accommodate the newer when it should be vice versa.
It was just a contingency of the
Okay.
purchase, so it's more of a legal issue rather than
Okay.
of the town's concern.
Yeah, I'm not
I
expecting you to change it. I just
Yeah.
wanted to express that because I think that's important. You know, there's been a lot of talk about the barn because of its nearness to Clark Road, but that's where they built it, and they were talking about parking lots and, you know, doing this, and there's no electric service over there, but there is a utility pole directly across the road. But, you know, people, when I was taking photographs, lots of people walked by me and walked right by the barn, so it's not like it's inaccessible. But I understand the barn is not a part of this.
And the 200-foot buffer has been taken into consideration for all of the Clark Road barn discussion. It was brought up at the last committee meeting, so it is being considered when the committee is making their decisions on the recommendations to make to the town board.
Okay. Well, I have thoughts on the barn, but that's not part of this. So I will say, I heard discussion about public-private relationship, mostly involving the barn, but maybe even the house, but I'm against that. I don't think it's a good idea for the town. The people of the town, and I was one of them that voted for it, overwhelmingly voted in favor of the town buying this property, and I think that was an excellent move. You know,
Again, not to cut you off, but that suggestion came from the barn committee, so we're not in a position
Okay.
to discuss it.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it involved the house or not.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Well, finally, I'll say, my final remark is Clark House Mount Vernon? Is Clark House Monticello? No, not even close. But Clark House is ours, and we should preserve and protect it.
Yep.
So,
We're doing our best.
thank you. Well, just wanted to make public remarks to let people know about it, and I like what I've heard so far.
And all of that is on the website, on the town's website. So any of that history of how it came about and what's happened since then, you can find it in there somewhere.
Okay, I have done some looking, but it's not always the easiest thing. So,
And if you want to give me a call, my name is Shannon Barg. I work in the building department. You can contact me directly. I'm happy to kind of walk you through any other questions you have, and I can send you the link to the website,
Okay.
to that direct page by email.
do you have a card with you or no?
I don't have one physically with me, but the phone number you can call is 340-8639. That's my direct line.
And I'm sorry, what was your last name again?
Shannon Barg, B-A-R-G.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Okay, we have a motion.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh,
We didn't actually give our update on the barn.
oh, okay. Your turn, I did it last time.
Sure. So the barn committee did meet last week. We are kind of getting to the end stages of the committee, to the point where we're starting to come up with some suggestions for the town board. So those will be formally put together and put in front of the town board to make a decision.
And that meeting is the one that's just in a couple of weeks, right?
Do we have a date yet?
No, for,
For the town board.
where the board is going to discuss it.
I don't, is that on the agenda? I haven't checked.
Well, remember, we were going to request that it be put on the agenda.
Gotcha. Okay, I missed that part. So then that would be at the next town board work session, which is, I believe, in 2 weeks-ish. Great, so
Okay.
we'll update everyone on that. And otherwise, yeah, the Clark House, 95% completed drawings. The bids are out. And we expect results in just a couple weeks. And then from there, the plan is to break ground in the spring.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Anything else?
Other items? All right, then
Move to adjourn.
we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
All right.